Welcome to miNibA, unveiling Nigeria's entrepreneurial spirit, one story at a time. Feel the pulse of Nigerian creativity, where dreams flourish and the nation thrive.
Happy New Year 2026, miNibA Nation.
Happy New Year, guys. It's really good to be back in the studio. You know what? My Dirty December was like a hit back to back. Like, yes, I had so much fun. I cleared my head. I rested and I had a lot of cheat meal. So I'm really ready for 2026. Well, I'm back to my diet now. So how about you?
I know yours was the same. It was that good because mine was the same.
All right.
So, guys, quick context, right? Episode 2 is a conversation we recorded a while ago. And when I mean a while, I don't mean like 3 months ago. We actually recorded this 30 December 2023.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
This is before electric vehicles, we started seeing them around. Before we started knowing things about energy and mobility as a normal talking point in Nigeria.
And what's interesting about, about this is how much of what we discussed has aged well, right? That's the interesting part. It's not just because everything has come true, right? But because it has helped us see what the real problem actually is. Do you get?
And this fits perfectly with today's episode.
And even season 5, absolutely.
Yes, with the whole season 5 as well.
So it's about the systems, the movement, their energy, and why copying solutions without, fixing the foundation keeps us stuck, as human beings and even in our businesses or anything.
So with this, guys, listen to today's episode, look at it from this perspective, and it's all about what's happening today, not what was working yesterday.
Absolutely. Let's move to mobility.
Mobility. Vibes on the frequency. Life is very sweet. It's all about the movement, energy.
I put on my shades for this in this dark room.
Okay, so tell me. Yeah. About to go into demon mode, bro. No, but okay. So again, I said this already. 2018 summer, got to leave Nigeria for a while. God, I miss those days pre-COVID. Man could just travel, and I went to LA for a week with my bro. That your apartment was lit though.
Was it just a week? It was a week, yeah.
It might have been a little bit more than a week, but probably maybe a week to 9.
You did 18 and then you did 19 again, right?
Yeah. So, it was very late, and I was just like, who is this guy that is living this sweet life? I'm like, bro, what do you do? Like, so
let me act like Barney.
I'm like, bro, what do you do? It's like, so I think you used to say like, you used to tell me like, look, it's mobility. It's like you said, Tesla. I'm like, yes. He said, okay, I work for like another Tesla guy. I'm like, okay, oh shit. Oh man, no wonder you're just like this. I'm like, bro, I used to be more worried about him getting to work on like than he was. At some point, after like 2 days, he's like, he just touched my shoulder. He's like, bro,
chill.
I'm good. So, and with that intro, please tell us about. What you are about.
Yeah, you're making it sound like Maz wasn't working hard, but that's fine.
No, you were working hard.
It's a matter of just like, don't let them see you sweat, yeah? I was like, Adeola is here from out of time. Let's give him some soft life treatment. But
appreciate it. Appreciate it. And still appreciate it.
What do? I started my own company called consulting practice, Leke Services.
Yeah.
It's focused on the mobility transition, right? Primarily in the US, where we're focused on the energy transition from combustion engines to largely electrified transportation.
Oh, yeah, speaking in English.
So English. Electrical.
No English. Let him do it.
So what that means is, as
this guy,
just come and go.
I don't know now, like
it's his sunglasses.
Listen, they talk say like you have to be able to have your elevator, your tagline, right? So it's looking at what's coming, right? So in the next 10 years or by 2030 or so, right, the bulk of new cars
By 2020 what?
2030.
2030.
Yeah.
Okay.
The bulk, over 50% of new cars sold in America and most of the West, right? So Europe and the likes, will be electric cars, right? What this means is that oil will be replaced, right? So oil drives the global economy right now, right? And if the leading powers, and mind you, China is already over 30%, so China is ahead of the curve. It's just that China is on a bit of an embargo from like communication with the rest of the world, so we don't really hear that gist. But they're pioneering most of this stuff. So, and this is because they don't have oil in China. And so they're like, let's jabber this stuff and move to something that we can control, an energy source we can control, right? So if most of these cars are going to start running on batteries, right? I looked at this and said, okay, who's making these batteries, right? Who is going to be selling, like, how are they going to be selling these cars? How are we going to refuel these cars, right? Or charge them in this situation? And so what that opens up is almost $1 trillion of market potential being created in this new economy, right? Because instead of petrol stations, it's going to be charging stations everywhere. Instead of oil, it's going to be batteries. Instead of electric cars and repairing your alternator and all these things, most of that stuff is going to disappear. It's now going to be who can recharge your battery better, who can replace your battery, who can program the updates of your infotainment. So everything is now digital. If you've been to any of the newer cars, right? There's so many Apple CarPlay, right? So the whole interaction is changing. Yeah. And then I was like, man, there are not many times you're able to live through a transition like this and actually be able to influence and impact how it goes, right? And so, like my man's here alluded to, I was at McKinsey at the time, McKinsey and Company, consulting with huge Fortune 500 companies working in this space, right? But when we looked at the problem, we said the people that are actually going to move and shake this are probably look very different from the ones we work with today, right? So 10 years ago, Tesla was not the biggest corporation in the world. It was an upstart, right? But now they've gapped everybody by far, right? And so McKinsey was like, okay, how do we survive the next 100 years? Is by finding the people who are on the way up and helping them accelerate. And so I got exposure to a lot of startups, a lot of people that were creating battery solutions, charging solutions, smart mobility solutions, all these apps and different things.
Faraday Futures?
No, Faraday Future was before. Faraday Future is what gave me the hands-on experience. And so McKinsey is just consulting, advising people on what to do. Yeah. Right? So I did Faraday Future and then went to McKinsey. And so the problem was McKinsey, being the top consulting firm in the world, charges a lot of money. Yeah. Right? No shame on their game, but the startups can't afford them for brass tacks, right? The growth stage companies that are trying to become the next GM and Tesla still just don't have the money to pay for that kind of help. And so I saw an opening to say, if this is where the future is going, and if it's going to be the young companies that take us there, how do I get into that game now
and serve those people
because they need their help, which is exactly why, because my eyes open to this problem. Like a lot of the people that we're talking to, they had built a product, they had built a battery, they had built a car. Now they have to build 100. Now they have to build 100,000. So if you follow this industry at all, you will hear Tesla had the ramp up problems when they were trying to get more volume.
Do you buy Tesla stock?
So
do you do stocks?
No, I do not. Okay. I do not trade in stocks.
Okay.
Not as of today.
Okay, go ahead.
Rivian, which is the next upstart, right? They're going through those growing pains right now. So every company, after they've kind of figured out this is a great market opportunity and I can actually produce it and actually serve the market, then have to figure out, can I serve it at scale? Can I do it for more than a handful of people? Can I do it for a lot of people so that when you sign up on my website, you get what you need? That part is incredibly hard, right? And so that is what I focus on. I help companies as they scale up to maintain some operational efficiency, which is manage your costs in simple terms.
You focus on like small businesses.
Correct.
While McKinsey focuses on like the big dots.
Yeah, in simple.
Fantastic.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Exactly.
So, but you will not say you're in competition with them.
No, they don't. It even helps them.
Yeah, it even helps them, right? Because by the time you're done with those people, and
then they can pick them up.
You can figure like, oh yeah, they're right.
Now they're ready. Now I can afford more expensive work.
So now looking at this,
Do you think this will ever come to Nigeria?
Of course.
The whole electrical, because you see, first of all, talking about electricity.
Vibes on the frequency.
Hey.
Life is very sweet.
Hey.
It's all about the energy.
Right. That song is a vibe. That song is a vibe. Now, looking at the way it is in Nigeria, we have light issues.
Yep.
But now we want to bring electric cars into Nigeria, and we're still having fuel issues. Taking away the subsidy, or we're an oil-producing country, or we still have to be paying subsidy, and now you remove the subsidy. Life is now becoming pretty hard for the average man in Nigeria. And if we say, okay, you know what, the solution is to bring in electric cars, where's the lights want to use to charge it?
Exactly.
Do you understand? So, isn't this like a conflicting aspect for you?
I think that's a great question, and I think that's exactly the reason why I'm here on this trip, to explore that avenue and see
if there's something there.
What makes sense, right? And and where I'm landing on is it's multifaceted, right? Number one, right, the US or the West is going from let's call it a fairly efficient transportation mobility environment where the roads work, there's filling stations, there's a population that can actually afford to do these things, and they're saying, how do we make it more efficient, remove the emissions, make it electric? Nigeria, I think, is starting from a different point, right? We are still struggling to move our people efficiently, right? And that is a problem that we need to solve despite regardless of the technology that we use, right? So when I look at the same timeline between now and 2030, in the US, I said something like over 50% of the sales of cars will be electric. In Nigeria, between now and 2030, I think what needs to happen is that we learn to move people more efficiently, regardless of the technology. Is to say, this railway that we've opened, right? How do we expand the reach so that more people are moving around? Because Nigeria, as much money that is in it, right? The average population is quite poor. Right? If we focus on getting electric cars in the hands of people, I think it's the wrong problem to solve.
Yeah.
I think we have to focus on moving people around efficiently. What this might mean is electric trains or electric buses, but then that's a different type of problem you're solving. You're going to the government and saying, when you're buying your next round of BRTs, get electric bus, or at least Nigeria has already said they're using natural gas, which we have in abundance. I have my questions there. Electric cars, electric buses is one that there are a lot of pilots going on in the country, right? And so if we can solve it on that scale of how do we move the masses around more efficiently, get more bus stops, get better road, get actual walkways. When people come off bus now, they're crossing expressway.
Yeah.
So if we solve those problems, I think that's more applicable to our local environments, right? Versus getting to... So the people that are going to buy electric cars in Nigeria are going to be the rich people that already have the Range Rovers today.
Yeah.
And they will be able to sort themselves, I believe.
Yeah, so, okay. So
do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's a different problem.
I totally understand what you're trying to say. Like, in short, by the time, all these things you said, by the time the government introduces that, the electric buses and all, it even exposes us to the idea.
Exactly.
So by the time we have the idea, before we now start cascading it into personal lives, but it's already out there in the public.
Exactly.
And people now see the possibility of that, right? And then the exposure, and then we now say, okay, you know what? I think I can do this individually.
And if we do it right? If we do it correctly, what that does is it reduces the burden of, because one big advantage apart from it being cleaner, less impactful to the environment of electric vehicles, is that they are fundamentally simpler vehicles. There are not as many moving parts, so the engine doesn't knock. There's no fan belt that tears. So those issues become
so many parts that you have to be looking for
this left and right. So import this, to import that, right? So if
way more sustainable.
If public transport and those people, then public transport has a chance of becoming more efficient by using more efficient technology. Although they might need, and they are the ones that can afford to have a depot with chargers.
But here's the thing, right? I understand where you're coming from, and you see, just like when you said this and I imagined it, my heart leaps for joy, and then I became sad again. I went from woo to zoom, like, oh my god, because now I just remember that 90% of this public
Transport.
transport guys are illiterate.
Yes.
And what they know is what they do right now.
What they do.
Like you bringing in, it will take a new government to tell them that every single bus on the road has to go into the station.
Okay. So yes, no. Okay. So I mean, again, that's why I talk about your transition, right?
Let's pause for a second here, right? If this conversation is making you uncomfortable, then that's a good thing, right? Because most people don't fail from lack of effort. They basically fail from lack of diagnosis, right? Yeah, so, and that's exactly what season 5 is about, understanding what's broken before you even try to grow. So here's the thing. If you're building a business, a brand, or you have an idea, right? Tools like the Business Health Checker by SME who is one of our sponsors, exists to help you see clearly. So if you want to access this free tool, that tells you the issues in your business and also helps you, fix it or know how to fix it, click in the link in the description or visit www.thesmemall.com. You won't regret this, trust me. Now, let's get back to the conversation.
Because the transition, thinking through a transition is necessary.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't think we do it a lot. I read it a lot in the news where they just say no more this thing from these dates. Let's just crush everything.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the best way to do it.
Okay,
I think it's a set targets by this time, or even if it's no more new buses, right? I should be. That's
now henceforth, these are the buses that you'll be using.
All the new ones have to be like this, right? So, something like that helps people. Okay, this one I just bought last year. Okay, I still use it.
Makes sense.
It's a little more reason.
When you imagine 2 bus drivers are driving, and I am already using the electric one. You're still using the old one. But you see that I never have to buy fuel. You see that my engine doesn't knock. Whereas I will not be stuck on top and I'll be doing with my passengers and and then you just see that, oh my god, you know what? I think I really want to get that guy's car, and that's how it works. It becomes like.
And that's how it works.
And then
and they can.
The other cars begin to naturally go into.
Exactly. Through it, and the incentives, right? I think the whole thing about incentives is that don't incentivize petrols, incentivize different behaviors that are actually worth it. Because what the government did is that they said will reduce cost of public transport.
Where's that happening?
They are doing it for the train.
Okay.
They put discounts on the train in Lagos. I mean, I'm not saying that is the completely substituted. I'm just saying because in Yankee there's incentives everywhere.
Yeah.
If the oil companies are incentivized to drill, the people, if I buy a new electric car, they give me $7,000, right? So there are incentives everywhere.
Ooh.
So if you have the incentives for the different behaviors and they actually administer it actually helps that transition. Again, not like Yankee doesn't have problems, right?
Of course. There's has their problem, but it's just
their thoughts.
Yeah, it's just the fact that there are things put in place already, and and it's easier for them to explore these things because they're even forward thinking, way more forward thinking than Nigeria. Man, this was like fire episode. Damn, I don't want to stop this conversation.
So let me add one last thing before talking about transport, because
just soaking everything in.
It's easy for us to talk about the shiny new technology, and it's very shiny and very new, and a lot of money is going that way. But I think within our demand patterns in this Nigeria here, people that are entering bus, people are entering Molo, people that are entering Okada, right? There are ways the system could work that don't require us to go and buy new stuff, right? For example, these fan belts and this alternator and this radiator that are spoiling.
Yeah.
Why are those buses on the road for 6 months before they get repaired? Why are they running with knock engines, right? Why can't we create a system that says we know you earn 20,000 naira from this bus, 100,000 naira from this bus every week, 200,000 naira. By the time you're sitting on the side of the road for 2 months, 3 months, that's 5 million naira or whatever gone, right? If I import this part, or if you make this part 100k, you buy it, you fix it now, that 5 million naira, like it's a cash flow that can service it. You're a banker, right? There's local demand but someone needs to manage it, someone needs to administer it, someone needs to have this foresight, package it. So I think there are those fixes, for me, those are the low-hanging fixes that put systems in place that actually say, the one we have now,
But how can we harness that?
How can we harness it and make it last, right? Because EVs, electric vehicles at this point are new, right? And if sustainability is one of the goals, sustainability is about reduce, which is don't buy as much until you need it, right? I know we need more in Nigeria, so it's not reduce, we need to increase, but the one we have, reuse.
So let me ask you, just this final question. So from a layman perspective, right, is it possible that we can convert our current type of car, what do you call it,
combustion engines?
Yes, into electric cars?
That's another exactly. That's another possibility.
And it's something you think you can pioneer?
I know people that are doing it.
Ooh, this is interesting. I'm so interested. You know why?
Why?
This is growth. This is like a glimpse of hope for us, like something new coming into town.
Have you been in an electric car before?
Yes, it was mad. Okay, so when I went to Houston,
Yeah.
and then the guy, it was an Uber. Imagine.
Yeah, Tesla.
The
Right?
guy came in the Uber, and my friend and I were like, "Oh my God, it's a Tesla! It's a Tesla! It's a Tesla!"
Yeah.
And then we got in, and then the guy was like, "Okay, do you want to see it like drive itself?" And we're like, "Yes."
Yeah.
And then he started, we're like, "We're going to die! We're going to die!" But it was interesting.
Yeah.
Because we allowed the guy, and when we allowed him, and then it was just going, and the guy was just like this. Like, if you guys cannot see me, I'm just putting my hand on my shoulder, like, I'm just folding my hands.
Yeah.
And then we went from one point to another, and I'm like, damn. As my dad would say, when you go too long.
What's the law?
It was interesting, and I'm like, when will Nigeria get here? But here's the good thing: we have people like you in the diaspora coming back home to build the country, which gives us a glimpse of hope. Laolu, is there anything you want to add?
No, I mean, no. I think we touched on plenty.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Being an amazing
there's
entrepreneur.
something that
And coming back to even use this to impact your community, because I guess that's why you're here this week. And then you even took out time to come on this podcast to enlighten people about this. I really, really, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate you coming. Thank you so much. Actually, I'm going to say something.
Yeah, before you give your sign out to the community and reminding them their responsibility, it's the thing that just kept popping in my mind is just education. Education.
How do we educate people about
education? Just like, one of the things that we remember, Aisha, I introduced you guys during my wedding. Like, she came on. She had 2 episodes this season. She climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, and I said that was not cool enough. She and her foundation, Do Good Foundation, they built a school in Makoko.
No way.
Telling you.
Yeah.
And just from that episode, one thing became clear to us here: the biggest impact we can make, just like the 20% that make the 80% impact, is in education. So yeah, we are seeing. We don't have a product yet, but we want to start taking donations. But I just wanted to get your view on the education system and how you think you can contribute from the diaspora.
Maybe this is the last thing.
Outwitting the devil. And that's another thing. You sent me the book, and when you sent me the book, you said, "I know you've read this book." You told me, and I was like, "Yeah, but it's not only that I read this book, I read it every year." And as a matter of fact, I have cut out the section on where the devil is talking about how to change the educational system for the better, and I've made it like something that I listen to, right? So we think about, like, we've listened to it a few times, and we're like, damn, some of these things are unorthodox, like she said, but whoa, this could make a big difference. But just in terms of, look at you, mobility, this is people in Makoko, they don't know all these things. How do you think, from where you are, what was the way you would like to help contribute to improving the educational system, to be a real educational system?
Just a quick one, even if it's a one line.
I mean, I think my bull case, right, which is my bull case,
okay,
which is the upside, right? The reason why, more than this is my home. The reason why I'm so bullish on Nigeria, the sub-Saharan, is because of connectivity. Everyone has a phone in their hands now, right? So if it's that everybody can access information without having to rely on the government to pay school fees.
Everyone
can have access to information
without having to wait for the government to pay school fees
or salary to the teachers. And I think that is an opportunity that will just unlock. And with over 50% under 18 or something like that in Nigeria, it's perfect. Like if you can just get those people every day, send them text message or send them a link, have them watch some YouTube videos, right? I think someone has to build that, and I know many people are building solutions in that space. But that allows you to short circuit a lot of the infrastructural gaps that we have here.
But still, education, is that what you're...
saying that we can use our mobile phones. Like, a lot of people that buy data at 1,000 naira still have mobile phones, right? And they're always on TikTok. We can use our mobile phones to send information to people, snippets every day. Do you know that you can send a 20 minutes video to somebody every day, but it's like taking a course on Coursera?
Exactly.
Yeah. But that person doesn't know that's what you're doing.
No.
And by the time they are done in the next 6 months, they have completed a full
syllabus.
Laolu.
Thank you, my bro.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This
Power couple.
This episode keeps getting better and better. And then we want to say thank you. Guys, this is miNibA. We are made in Nigeria, inspired by Africa, and we'll continue to push this narrative. If you want to know more about us, check us on Instagram. I am _miNibA. We've even started promoting a lot of Nigerian-made brands. And then we're also bringing forward a lot of information to you guys. Very soon we'll be launching something really special that will help almost every entrepreneur in Nigeria. Just look out for us. Laolu, thank you much.
Your handles. How can people connect with you?
What's your handle?
Or wherever they can connect with you.
It's mostly LinkedIn. Look for Leke Services or go to my website, leke.services, leka.services. And then you can find me there. Reach out to me on any of those platforms.
Okay, guys, do not forget to follow us on Instagram at I_am_miNibA. miNibA is MINIBA. And also listen to our podcast on YouTube at miNibA-1020. See you guys soon.
What's powerful about listening back to this conversation is realizing something. Senami, what's that?
It's not the problem, right? The problem is not that there was never awareness. The problem was execution and systems, putting systems in place.
Exactly. Awareness is just the first step, but it's not the problem. A lot of what we talked about still applies today. Maybe even more. Don't you think?
Well, that's what season 5 is about. Season 5 is about builders. People who, stop chasing shiny fixes and start repairing the foundations.
Absolutely. And it's important that wherever you are, miNibA Nation, you have to ask yourself this one question.
Am I fixing the symptoms or am I fixing the system?
And with that, thank you for tuning in. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, peace and life's richest blessings.
This is miNibA, made in Nigeria, inspired by Africa.
As we wrap up this episode, remember, the horizon is endless. Keep exploring, keep growing, and keep listening to miNibA, where every dream nurtured is a step towards building the Nigeria of our dreams.